All right, friends. We are full on into summer, are we not? Somebody validate craziness that is happening in all of our lives right now. Like, really. I feel like summer can be hard. And I'm feeling the kids being home, the schedule being different. My husband and I used to have Fridays alone together. That's not happening. I'm trying to move my window so I can see my notes. I'm just going to put it on the other screen. So if you see me looking this way during this call, during this training, it's because I have two screens and the notes are over here. Good morning, Siri. So glad to have you here. I am going through a little bit of a summer cold, if you will. So my voice may be a little weak today, guys. I got my Christmas mug. This is literally my mug from childhood that I stole from my mom's house when I left. And I still drink my tea out of it, and I sure love it. I want to share with you just a little personal tidbit. Like, we're talking this morning about why Christian moms put themselves last. And I specify Christian because what's really, really so interesting to me, my friends, is that I don't think a lot of people identify as Christian when a lot of their values and what they believe is morally correct or important actually stems from Jesus of Nazareth. Like, I don't think they've done their homework. Until Jesus of Nazareth came, this is just a little history lesson, that when I learned it, it really shifted things for me. People say we don't need religion, and I get that. Like, religious practices, rituals, symbols, I understand this, but just be aware that until Jesus of Nazareth, teachings of kindness, of inner spiritual meanings, ancient Chinese records show that there are some ancient practices of some of these same principles. But Jesus of Nazareth was the one that came to the old world and essentially broke down this idea of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. He broke down the idea that said we had to follow certain rules. He opened up the ideas of personal agency. It's interesting. So I hear a lot of people that really value kindness, that really value being giving, charitable, honest, true, chaste. Like, these types of ideas started mainly, like in huge portion, with Jesus of Nazareth. Not philosophical. A lot of the ancient Chinese philosophies are that. They're philosophical thoughts instead of moral principle. And I think that that's important to distinguish, that a lot of people that don't identify as Christian actually identify a lot more with being like a follower of Christianity than they know. And I love studying the life of Jesus Christ and what he taught, because it breaks down what some of the religious sects of our day, all these churches, all the different ones have so many pieces of what he taught, so many. And I don't think one church has everything all figured out. I think that you can choose to go to a church and enjoy what they teach and become a member of their congregation if it serves you, brings joy to your life. Anyway, I was just pondering on that this morning and I felt to share that. So whoever's on this call, know that this is the exact right place for you to be, or you wouldn't be here. You would have made a different decision. You would have turned on something else. This is the exact right place for you to learn something, to feel something, to hear what needs to be said in your heart today. Or maybe you're just taking this time out as a literal time out to sit and ponder your thoughts and take some time to hear some ideas about Christianity. So let's dive into some of these topics, and I will tell you that I know that I can get fired up and I can have high energy a lot. Today is not that day, at least not right now. As I was pondering on teaching about, what moms think when they put themselves last. This is a serious subject. This is really, really, really serious. Like, when moms put themselves last, yes. Siri says, if we look at the commandments, we're supposed to love ourselves. If I struggle with loving myself, I can't honestly serve others. This is so true. What wisdom. Guys, Siri is one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And what's interesting is she's actually been through our Elevated Mother Experience program. And since then, I've had the beautiful pleasure of knowing some people that saw her go through our program, and they're like, Siri was the most amazing person in my life. I saw her go through your program. It made me want to look into your program. I'm like, whoa. So Siri, you're amazing. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. She's a grandmother. She has got some serious wisdom. But what moms think when they're putting themselves last, on my notes, and keep adding your wisdom, Siri, is they think they're being helpful. They think they're being helpful, like to their husband, like, well, if I don't sign up for this coaching program, if I don't go get that massage, if I don't take that trip with my mom and my sisters, if I don't get that sitter to go do that thing that's really something I want to do so badly, if I don't take this job, I'm doing my spouse a favor, because then he's not going to have to worry about what he has to support because I'm changing my role in the family, or he already does so much for us that if I do this thing, he's supporting me and I can't add something to his plate. Friends, when you get married, you become a partnership. This is not a ball and chain situation where your husband married you and now he regrets it. Do you see how that idea lends to that belief system? That you're thinking you are a burden upon this person? Like, oh, he does so much. I can't ask for his support. When he married you as a partner, like, you're not a ball and chain to him, but that idea lends that you have a belief somewhere in there that you're a burden. And I'll share with you through my own experiences with marriage therapy, learning from a couples therapist. And she shared that the number one cause for divorce is actually lack of communication about belief systems. Like, a woman's over here thinking something and he's over there thinking something, and they never share it in a useful way. So they build resentment on both sides and they have fights over things that just could have been said. It's very interesting. So you thinking you're a burden and this ball and chain to your spouse is super unresourceful. It's not helpful. And in my meditation this morning and pondering about this class, I had a affirmation that I said to myself for a long time to help me shift this, and I want to share it with you today. It says, I am available for every choice. Taking a less desirable option does not help anyone, because what's a less desirable option is due to an individual's perception. I can choose whatever I want. I said it in my affirmations for so long that plays easily. It's a thought that I now can live by. And that's a skill and a process we teach inside the Elevated Mother Experience, is how to create affirmations that help you to rise above and become empowered above beliefs that are not helpful, such as this. Such as thinking you're a burden for other people, and that taking the less desirable options or not doing what you truly want to do is somehow helpful to the world, because it's not. This is your own thought. One of the other things moms think if they put themselves last is, my kids will feel less pain. My kids will feel less pain if I give them, often this is a actual trauma response. You feel that your childhood or your upbringing or your past somehow is less than. And so you have to do things different, have to, right? This is you, again, not claiming your agency. I have to do this for my children because they deserve more than what I had. Do you see how that statement and that way of believing lends to the idea that you have childhood traumas? Do you somehow believe your past has made you like it's a less worthy situation than what you're trying to create for your kids? Interesting, right? And then you go to and have this energy of like, I have to do this. I have to do this. You lose through doing that over and over and over. You are perpetuating the idea that you are worth less. You're worth less than your husband. You're worth less than the kids. You're worth less than this other person doing the mother's Valentine party committee, like whatever you're doing, that you are worth less. My children will have less pain and struggle in their lives if I make their beds for them every day, take their homework to them all the time. When they forget it, they'll have less pain if I do their laundry. There's a number of things that moms are doing out of this have to energy that's perpetuating a worthlessness. I'm worth less than what they have going on. You see this? And moms wonder why they feel like their kids are taking over their lives. This is something I hear a lot. And it's not okay. Your kids are an asset to you, not a liability. Explore that statement if needed. Another thing that moms think when they're putting themselves last, they think the people around me are more served. I'm being a better Christian, right? I'm being a better Christian. I'm loving better. These people feel value if I choose a least desired option. I have seen, in fact, I went to the airport and I rode the shuttle from the parking, and this gentleman popped up out of his seat and he was so determined that I sit in his seat. What's interesting is I wasn't looking for a seat. I wanted to stand because I wasn't feeling well, and standing up actually was helping me with my breath, and I wanted to stand and hold on to the pole. And he's like, "Come on, lady, sit down." And I was like, "I'm actually fine. I'd prefer to stand. This is what I'm doing." And he's like, "Oh, come on. I gave up a cushy seat for you. You need to take this seat. It's the gentlemanly thing to do." And he went off on explaining why I should do this thing. And I'm like, whoa, he's not even listening to me. This guy is not even hearing what I'm saying. He's so wrapped up in this idea that by him standing up and me sitting down, he's taking the less desirable option. He's more served. Now, this is a man's example, but it happens with women as well. We perceive that taking a less desirable place in line, a less desirable piece of cake, a less desirable experience, that we're somehow serving and making everyone around us feel more valuable, when actually we're having a martyr complex. We're putting ourselves on this pedestal that this is a pride issue. This is a pride issue. And when you come right down to it, you are literally taking the agency of other people. When you take on their issues, you need to leave, please. No, shut the door. Sorry, friends. Shut the door, please. They're taking the agency of other people, and they're not listening. They're actually, it's so interesting because just like that affirmation, you're not serving anybody by taking their choice away from them. That's maybe someone else wanted the smaller piece of cake, but you jumped in and took it. Then you feel resentment about it, thinking you've served all these other people like you're a martyr. Well, I took the last piece that was so small because that's what good Christians do. And now you're just sad that you didn't get the cake you wanted or the seat you wanted or whatever. Like, let people make their choice. If they don't say, can I please have that seat? Or I'd really like this, and you can make a choice about that. Don't dig into other people's agency, right? It's really interesting. One of the other things moms think, and this is the last one if you're taking notes, that moms think when they are putting themselves last is that God will approve of me. As if God is up there with a little clipboard taking notes and being like, oh boy, she didn't take that seat. She didn't offer that piece of cake. Strike, strike, strike. I laugh because it's so ridiculous. There is no points in God's system. Nowhere did Jesus talk that we are amassing a grade or points or anything. In fact, he tells us multiple times through all scripture, your worth is great in the sight of God. That's a statement. It doesn't say your worth is great in the sight of God if. Never. It never says that. God approves of you just for being. You don't have to prove anything. That's a big, big concept for a lot of people, that this has been their belief system. And that can be because of something parents said, something you heard in church during a vulnerable time, and you interpreted it that way, whatever it is. But I promise you, your worth is set because you are. You don't have to prove or show God anything to be approved of or loved or worth his grace. Okay? So some of the reasons that people have put themselves last that may not be like a thought that they're having is like why you even got there, right? Why the thoughts even creeped in. Some people go, man, how did this begin? A lot of it is because you were modeled that. Your mom, your grandma, your dad, your sister, like somewhere along the line, you were modeled this kind of behavior. You maybe saw it in your church, that maybe you were told you were to be submissive in some way, and you interpreted it as putting yourself last. Do some work on these words, submissive and meek, if you need to, because they do not mean cowering, less than, taking second place. Those do not equate with what those words mean. I'm just going to slip this in here for you. Meekness means standing in your power. Being meek means you stand in who you are. and you just live there. You don't try to defend it. You don't try to put your belief systems on other people. You live as who you are. That's meek. Jesus was meek. Some of the other things that may have happened is you went out and maybe you believe that contributions outside the home, outside of motherhood, so like if you're not babysitting the baby, it's not as valuable as going out and doing something for yourself, like doing a painting or going out with the girlfriends. You think, oh, those kind of things aren't valuable. They're just nice. So things that take care of you, things that are part of you being who you are, hobbies, maybe work, maybe a goal you have, just a bucket list item, is part of your experience. It is not less than you being home taking care of the baby. But that can be something you were modeled or told. Your place is here. Your most valuable being is here doing this thing. And it's just not true. One of the other things is to do some of these things, you need a money exchange, right? To participate in the girls' night out, to start your own business, to go get the massage. There's a money exchange that gets to happen. And you may feel that whoever earns the money is in charge of that money. That may have been something that you experienced versus a partnership where the money goes into a hole and the needs are taken care of. But that, again, that's a communication thing with your partner. How does this look? Is it on the table? Have you had that conversation with your spouse? What does our money mean? Is it yours, mine, and ours? Or is this, it's yours and I have to ask for it? Does he have that belief too? A lot of men struggle. They know they want to like support, but they actually weren't modeled a healthy way to do that. It's a conversation worth having. I will tell you what. Some people actually, they feel this dissonance about this, but they don't know what to do about it. Like, so they keep putting themselves last because they actually don't know another way. They don't have the words. They don't have the example. They don't know. And if you're resonating with any of these, please drop in the comments, be vulnerable, let us know. And some women just continue to put themselves last because when they change and stop doing it, it creates conflict. It creates dissonance and all sorts of things. So they're like, life just gets out of balance when I try to do my thing. So I'm just going to stay small. I'm just going to stay small because I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be the one that's caused this problem. Interesting, right? And because if this is the things you were modeled, this is the reasons maybe why you've decided to put yourself last. Some of the beliefs that you probably have working, and I do this because a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And we can disrupt those and decide the helpful ones. And we do that in Elevated Mother Experience. We map your belief processes, right? So some of the things that you have formed is that you might be judged by your spouse for changing things about yourself, your home, how things run, that he will judge you, that he'll be upset at you. You have these thoughts, right? You believe he will have an opinion about you that's not going to be good. And so you keep thinking that keeps you in this position. Another belief you've probably formed is that if you focus on you and you don't do all the classes in the kindergarten holiday mother sign-up sheet, that you're going to miss important moments, that your child will resent you, that you'll have regrets. This is actually a time scarcity belief. Did you think taking care of yourself and living your life somehow means you'll regret your own life? Like you're going to miss out on your kids' lives. It's very interesting. Another belief you might have formed is that if you rock the boat, the things you have right now that you're grateful for that are already good in your life, you might lose them. They might disappear. Scarcity. One of the other ones that you probably think is, I should be grateful. I should just be humble. I should just love what I already have. I should stop seeking for more. That's a prideful thing. Dude, you don't understand Jesus' teachings. He never said to settle. He never said to be small. He said to expand and progress. Over and over and over. Parable of the sower, parable of the talents. My friends, you are meant to progress, to be more, to create more. In fact, I'm reading Viktor Frankl's The Man's Search for Meaning again, and oh my goodness, it's the right time for me to be reading it. He just got done explaining his experience in the concentration camps during World War II in Dachau and Auschwitz, and he was a psychiatrist going in, right? And so coming out, he wrote these books, and he's like, I've learned a thing or two about the human psyche. And he was talking about really the thing that carries humans through is having something to do. Not settling, not being small, actually aspiring to be better than they are, aspiring to do more, to learn more, to contribute is the one thing he noted. Every prisoner that seemed to remain mentally there throughout the ordeal was because they figured they had an inner purpose, something that they were going to do with it. Interesting. It is so important, just from outside of Christianity, but a scientific and he said this is a psychotherapy, mental health. He said conflict and progressive conflict, like a struggle to change, is essential for mental health. I just underlined that. I mean, I just thought it was beautiful. And talking to you today, it's coming. Thank you for sharing that, Missy Hellstrom. It's such a good book. But this idea of growth and progress is something Jesus told us 4,000 years ago. Viktor Frankl just figured it out from a scientific point of view after going through the ordeal of the concentration camps of World War II and the Holocaust. What if we'd learned that from Jesus 4,000 years ago? Interesting, right? The other thing that a belief you may have formed is, to be able to get my needs met, I need money. That's also a scarcity and unresourceful thought. I have to have money to change and to get my needs met. That's really a limiting belief. So when mom puts herself last, how is this affecting the family? Like what, and what's happening like over time? So when mom's putting herself last, the children, this is you perpetuating that you're modeling this. So if you're like, yeah, my mom and grandma, they didn't put themselves first. If you aren't, you're doing the same thing. You're keeping this generational belief going that is unhelpful, unresourceful. And what happens? Mom builds resentment. Moms that explode don't always have some anger management issue or trauma. Sometimes they are not getting their needs met. So they're explosive. They've built so much resentment around their children, and they're so mad. They may even slap their children. They may even be angry toward a newborn baby because of resentment that's built. Now, there can be some mental health issues and whatever, but in my experience, a lot of my clients' experience and what I've read, a mom that puts herself last all the time is silently building resentment. A mom that is believing this way, she rarely grows intellectually, and she's starving herself, and she feels it. I heard a mom tell me on the phone, she was looking into my program, and she said, Robin, I feel a shell of a person compared to who I used to be before kids. Before kids, I was doing this and this and this, and I had these aspirations, and now she had 6 children in like 12 years or something, 10 years. And she's like, I'm a shell of a person. And I was like, I bet you are. That is a very real experience that you will experience if you have continued to never get your needs met. And you like think it's okay. It can become a source of depression for moms that never change this. So you're perpetuating this cycle. You feel trapped. You feel like you don't grow intellectually. You start to literally regress in your intellect. It's interesting. So some of the things that are reinforced is that you're worth less than others. Your needs are not important. I have to serve other people to be worthy and valued. My productivity equals my worth. I have to earn my worthiness. I am just a mom. When I hear moms say that, well, I'm just a mom, I'm like, oh boy. I don't judge them. I just observe the words and I know where they come from. I'm just a mom. I'm like, ooh, that there's other titles that are more valuable. My kids will have less pain if I control their outcomes. I will always be available. I will be this parent that is always doing the carpool. I will always do this thing. I will always do this thing because I am reducing the amount of pain and feelings because my parents, you have trauma. It's like you're saying your kids are going to have your experience, but they aren't you. This is common for people that have traumas and then they feel like they'll be mirrored in their child's life. They're having what's called a mirror trigger. All of these things we explore in the Elevated Mother Experience because they're really common. So when you're saying I'm putting myself last, this is the pros. If we're doing a pros and cons list, this is what you're thinking. My perception, right? This is your perception. If I do this, I'm serving people, I'm being Christ-like, and I'm increasing my worth. That's the perception of why moms would put themselves last. But the cons is that your capacity actually decreases. Your joy is actually stifled. Your ability to create is stifled because you're not progressing intellectually. Your possibility of regrets in your life skyrockets. You feel a shell of who you know you are and who you have been. You have fatigue from doing all the things. You're butting your heads with your spouse and your kids. You feel on display and judged all the time. You fear what other people are thinking and seeing about your kids. So when your kid starts crying in swimming lessons, you march in there to tell your kid a lesson or two, instead of just letting your kid have their experience that they're going to have. Let the coach do their job of helping your child become more happy in the water. Like, I see this. And I know these moms that think they're on display. A mom just yesterday at swimming lessons, she ran up to the bench I was sitting on and there was a towel sitting there and she grabbed it up and put it on her lap. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, a mom that apologizes for being, she's like apologizing for existing. She's apologizing for needing a couple seats on a bench. I thought, wow. I'm curious what's going on for this woman. I have empathy and love and care for this woman. If this is you, I would love for you to examine this. I would love for you to examine this. I want you to up level and be able to feel empowered to claim your agency here. Use that affirmation that taking the less desirable option is not serving anyone, and you always have a choice. And you can always choose what you want. It's so important. And if you need to expand on this, DM me. But this is why, purpose of the class, right? This is why Christian women put themselves last. And if you find yourself in those belief zones, let's hear about it. Let's hear about it. And I'll tell you that over the next few weeks, we're going to expand on this a little bit more in each Free Friday class. So you can watch for those. But if you have any thoughts, you have, maybe you resonate with some of these beliefs, know that I'm not judging you. I'm observing how we can move out of this. And inside the Elevated Mother Experience, I mean, there's another way to do it. How long are you going to let this go on? Because it's not helpful and it's not resourceful. Learning different skills to change the story is possible. It's been mapped. I have a lot of amazing testimonials of people that have gone through and faced these wounds so that they can actually get what Jesus calls the balm of Gilead. We have to take the Band-Aid off and expose what's actually happening to treat it. And then what's awesome is inside coaching programs, if it's a good one, They help you move forward. We don't go into a lot of the past and the retrospect. That's for you to do in the journaling exercises that we provide. We help you move forward. We help you find the balm of Gilead for your wounds so that you can have more abundance that you've been blocking with some of these beliefs, more joy and peace in your life as you're striving for things that you align with. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes, Sierra, you do not have to put up with it. Yes. All right, ladies. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the woman that is learning, being the woman and the mom that's expanding and changing the story for our rising generation, changing the story for our sons and daughters. Stop the lack, stop the limiting beliefs and the depressive bouts. Let's move forward in an elevated state of being, loving ourselves. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on another class.